Hi, this is John with The Evolving World. Today I'm doing a quick video on upgrading from halogen bulbs to LED bulbs. So this is specifically in the size H3 and H3C, and this is what your standard halogen bulb looks like. It has this metal flange around it, square notched on the top, and then it has a half circle notch on the bottom. And that basically goes into a lot of times projector headlights and a lot of times fog lights. We use this specific size. JDM cars, Japanese domestic market cars, is what I have here, and that's what I'm trying to replace here with something a little bit more modern. These are 55 watt officially, and then this is a H3. That's an H3C, and this one's an H3. And the only real difference is that they're actually, if you look at them, they're pretty much identical. I mean, this is an aftermarket bulb, so it has the blue, hyper blue or whatever coating on it. But if you look at the actual bulb distance, the filament from the metal flange is identical. The only thing that's different between the H3C and the H3 is just the base right here. So what happens is this is the positive, and then it grounds at the flange for your standard H3. This is often used on a lot of fog lights, like Hella fog lights. They use that bulb. And then, but it's also used on headlights too. And then this is the H3C, and it basically just has your positive and then your negative right there. Just the flange doesn't do anything. It's just there for mounting. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and open these boxes up and see what kind of cool bulbs we got. Okay, so here's our bulbs laid out on the table here. So I just unpackaged them from the containers here. So these were all bought on eBay. They all cost different prices and they all had different claims and everything. So wasn't sure which one to get, and since I have two cars, or at least one car that uses this one and one car that uses this one, I wasn't sure what to get here. So that's why we're doing this little comparison here, and hopefully we'll have some good information. So starting with this type 1 over here, this is the only one. Oh, also another thing too is this the only, like, this one has a kind of a brand name on it. This one has a name on it too, but this one over here does not have any name on it. I couldn't see anything. It just says car LED bulbs. So it's like not even nobody even wants to put their name on that one apparently. But anyway, so let's go through the packaging here just real quickly. So this one comes with the flange is actually not even attached. I was able to put it on there pretty quickly though, and align it up with the element. You want the element to be on the top and on the bottom, and so there's a square notch for our top and then a half circle for the bottom. I did check the distance from the filament to the actual flange, which is the critical number, and these are lined up perfectly. This one is as well, so that's good. This one does have the flange attached. It comes with it attached, but weirdly, it's not aligned. But the good news is that it appears to be the same flange as this one. So I think we can just simply pull that off and then stick it back on and align it correctly. But I thought that was kind of a odd thing there, because you don't want to stick it in there like that. It would be like crooked. You know, get some kind of weird light pattern going on there. And then this one on the end here, this one's the odd one that it's packaged nicely, nice and tight and everything. Unlike this one, which this thing was actually rattling around in there. I thought it was broken actually when I got the package, because it, you know, made such a rattling sound. But that's what it was. It was just a flange right there that was loose. But this one's packaged nicely, no name, and as it appears here, it would be a better replacement for the H3, as there's no separate wire coming out of it. But the thing is that as you look at it and see that where that flange in relationship to the element is at, you can see that there's quite a difference there, like really, really bad. I mean, it's like way over here when it should be over here. So, like, I don't even know if that would physically fit in, well, my application or any application for that matter, because of how long it is. It's ridiculous. I mean, if the element or if the lens needs to have that filament in the right position, if you put this in, it may not, I mean, in a lot of cases, the housing might not even be able to house something like that. So that's kind of a disappointment right off the bat. And I think, as I recall, this was the most expensive one too, which is like, geez, I guess you get what you pay for, huh? Right? Well, anyway, let's go ahead and bench test these guys, and I'll show you all the information that comes along with it. First of all, this bench test was done at 12.3 volts. So it's a little bit on the low side, but it shouldn't matter too much. I mean, the numbers might be just a little bit on the low side, but it shouldn't vary too much. But what's interesting is this is the only one that's a stock bulb right here, 55 watt halogen. And so it's claimed to be that. And then when I bench tested it, that's what I got, 36. That's actually the actual bulb number right there and name. But as you can see, 36 watts, even if this was at 14 volts or something, it still wouldn't increase it. That we might increase it like 15%, even maybe 20%, it would still be like 42 watts. So it's nowhere near 55. So I don't even know where the 55 comes from. But this is one of the aftermarket bulbs. This is a 65 watt bulb. And it has this blue coating on it, supposedly to make it look more like an LED or something, or give it a blue light. Slightly blue. It's actually not blue though. Actually, it looks pretty much like a stock white bulb. It's kind of, that's what's funniest about it. It doesn't even, the light doesn't even look any bluer or anything. But anyway, that's a 65 watt, and then this one's a 42 watt. So it is brighter. It is a little bit brighter than that one, as far as the wattage that it's putting out. But that brings us over to our LEDs over here. So this is the information I got. So very, very interesting. All these bulbs were bought on eBay, so you never know what you're going to get. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this comparison here, is because you just never know. Price has nothing to do with it, and the claims have nothing to do with it. So the only way you really know anything is to actually watch a video like this, or to actually buy all three of them and test them yourself. I mean, it's pretty much the only way to do it. So, like the first one's $9, the second one's $7, and then the last one was a whopping $14, and that's for a pair. And as you can see here, the first one was 11.3 watts, which is pretty good wattage for a bulb of this like this. And the second one was 10 watts. Both of these were very bright. This one is definitely the brightest. This one was almost as bright. And then coming up last, this one, the most expensive one, mind you, only 4.8 watts. Definitely the dimmest. I would say not even as bright as this one, maybe even dimmer. And of course, we already know that this one doesn't fit because of the weird spacing here. So it doesn't even have the element in the right place. The bulb is like an inch too long, so you can't even stick it in. So like it doesn't even fit. So it's twice the price of this one, half the wattage, and the stupid thing doesn't even fit. So like that's the complete garbage right there. Like complete waste of money right there. I'm going to get my money back, return that tomorrow. I'm not even going to talk about that one. I can't even stick it in my bulb to test it in the car anyway. So it's just complete garbage. So that leaves us these two here. But what's interesting is that the claims, they're all very similar. They all say H3. They all say headlight, LED. They all say, like this one says 6000 K, which is the light temperature. That's about a cool white. So all of them say that. So they're all consistent in that number. But that's the only thing that's consistent. Everything else is this crazy stuff. Like this says 8,000 lumens. I take it that's what LM stands for. There's no way that's 8,000 lumens. This one says it's 45,000 lumens. There's no way that's 45,000. This one says it's 225,000 lumens. That's like a freaking sunlight or something. That's crazy. It's not that bright at all. So I'm not even sure what they're talking about, but there's absolutely no way that that number means anything. So I thought that was kind of funny. So the only thing else here, I was able to put the flange on, and it is kind of nice that you can remove it because you could adjust this bulb. If it doesn't fit your lens properly, like that way, you could do it this way. I mean, well, this is the stock way, or like that. That's the stock way. And if it doesn't work, you could adjust it. So that's kind of cool that they both have removable flanges. Plus, they're a very compact design too. As you can see, they fit this pretty nicely. Like it's not going to be any clearance issues or anything either, unlike that piece of junk. But this one has a flange too. Now, so I was able to take off the flange and adjust it. So I adjusted it properly now. So top up would be your square notch, and then a rounded half circle is your bottom. So now that should fit our headlight position pretty nicely. But once again, you could remove that and rotate it, so that's pretty cool. So both of these seem like both of these bulbs are really high quality. They look really nice. I mean, there's no fan on either of these. They look like they might have a fan, but they're actually just a heat sink, so there's no fan noise or anything, so it doesn't actually have a fan in it. Some other models do, but these don't. But they seem like they're nice quality. So the only thing about the only other difference is that these have the 6mm blades, just like our stock bulb here. But this one over here, for some reason, the positive is 6 millimeter, but the negative is only 4.5 millimeters. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem or not. We'll have to see as we put it in our car and test it, see if it's loose or anything. But otherwise, yeah, I would say both of these are both solid bulbs at this price. I mean, so I would, definitely recommend both of these guys right here if you see those on eBay for about that same price or something. Now, this is including tax, mind you. So that's free shipping including tax. So total price, that's all it is, $9 for 2 bulbs, $4.50 a bulb. This one's only $3.50 a bulb for $7 total. So I would say both of these are pretty solid. So let's go ahead and put these in the car and just see what they look like, and then that should do it. So finding out a little bit of information here. Trying to put in these bulbs. This is the stock bulb. It fits in real nicely. No tolerance problems. It kind of just slightly, little bit of tolerance right there. Fits in nice and precise. When you try to put either of these other two in, apparently the flange isn't quite cut properly because it does not fit. It's close, but it doesn't quite fit. So that's kind of a pisser. You can see right there. I think it's the square notch on the top that's a little bit smaller of a square than it should be. It should be a little bit wider. And both of them do not fit. So yeah, this is kind of disappointing right here. Everything was going pretty smoothly until we tried to stick them in here. So that's really annoying. They're just not, it's just like, I don't know what, it's like, that's really wacky that somebody makes these things and they don't even check the tolerances. That's really pathetic. I mean, that's really disappointing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a file and just kind of lightly enlarge that notch out. Okay, so what I had to do is I had to take the flanges off of both of them, both different types, and then just file down the rectangular bit a bit. And then after doing that, it didn't take too long. But now I got it in the car, and this is what it looks like right here. As you can see, it looks pretty good. This is type number 2. So it's the 10-watt one. So the dimmer of the two. As you can see, it still looks pretty bright. It looks brighter than stock as would be expected. And the light pattern is still nice and accurate, Being a projector lens, it actually, the lens is the same, so the bulb changes. As long as that element is lined up correctly, you have a very similar light pattern. So that looks pretty clean, looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and put in the other one and see if it's going to be slightly brighter, but probably not much noticeable. But let's go ahead and do that anyway. So here's the type 1 bulb installed now. It's just a hair bit brighter than the type 2. And there's no problems with the projector beam pattern. It's putting out the light exactly how it's supposed to. Everything lines up perfectly, so that was good. And no real issues with the 4.5 going into the 6 millimeter slot. That didn't seem to cause any problems. Just having to modify both the type 1 and type 2 flanges, that was the only real issue with this install. But it's not something that I'm going to have to do very often, so actually probably never again on this one. So I think that's going to do it for this review of some LED bulbs, converting from halogen over to LED in the H3 and H3C light bulb sizes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it informative and useful. Please like and subscribe if you did. Many more videos to come.